I'm getting ready to make my run through Dark Souls. I've got everything set up here for a solo expedition. I'm playing 4 characters. I'm doing the Knight, Warrior, Mercenary, and a little bit of Magic Sorcerer. And if you've been following my vlogs or checking out some of that crossover with D&D, you know I have to bring in a little bit of magic. In choosing my characters, I did not choose the mini boss ahead of time, and I have to be very, very careful here. Simply, because I don't want to give away any spoilers. The different mini bosses, the main bosses, the mega bosses, not only do they have unique personalities in terms of their AI, but also weaknesses and strengths and things they are immune to and things that they can take more damage from, in addition to poison and freeze and other type of effects. The characters that you pick can potentially influence that. And likewise, of course, the gear that you can find as you move along, that's going to influence things greatly. Having played through Dark Souls a number of times, familiar with some of the mini bosses, the main bosses, and a few of the megas, I don't want to kind of meta it. So I like to pick my characters first and then shuffle up the cards and then draw the mini boss, draw the main boss. We're fighting the Outrider Knight tonight. And this leads into, that was kind of the setup here. This leads into the question of playing with the expansions. I've got the invaders, I've got the summons. Those invader colors over there, I don't know how they were able to get them that bright, but they're even brighter in person than in camera. This leads to the question of the mimic. And I'm going to pull the 2 models out here. Now, I like to play with all of the expansions when I'm going solo. Just absolutely put everything in, mix everything in. Some aspects do potentially slow down the game. If you have an invader drop, which is not always guaranteed, it's a second kind of mini boss, mega boss type fight. If you have a mimic drop, which the chances of a mimic dropping are better than average, because the chances are I'm going to draw a chest on one of these tiles. And when the chest goes out on the tile, based on where you place it, then you draw one of these mimic cards. Now, I've shuffled these up ahead of time, so I'm not going to cheat and look. And the idea is when you open a chest, you draw a mimic card, and if it's a mimic, then you initiate a mini boss or mega boss encounter, depending on where you are in the tier. The challenge, of course, the question is, honestly, the narrative perspective, yes, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of excitement. I like to inject as much random and unknown into the game to deal with. But from the perspective of the meta, is the mimic worth it? And I say, is it worth it? Because when you open a chest, you get treasure cards. So it's kind of like I get the duality of the best of both worlds, where I get some souls for defeating the encounter. And I also get some treasure cards drawing from the deck over there that I don't have to spend souls on. So it increases the draw that maybe then I'll use to spend on some of my attributes. The mimic gives you an extra card. Is that really worth it? Especially since the mimic hits really, really hard. I'm not going to get into the AI. I'm somewhat familiar with the AI because, again, you're going to regularly encounter it. But it hits really hard, and if you're looking to make a non-stop run, meaning I'm going to go mini boss, main boss, mega boss, and I'm going to fight one of the mega bosses. I don't know which one yet. We'll let randomness decide that fate when I make it there. I do play solo. If I die, that's it. Everything gets reset. And this is a chance to really get hurt early on. If my early drops are not that great, then what do we do? Is it really worth it? That's the question I ask. And of course, it's optional. You can bolt the mimic in, you can pull the mimic out. I do play with it, but I do kind of question that from time to time. I guess you guys got to know, right? If there's a chest to draw, the first chest that I draw and I open, is it going to be a mimic? I'm going to flip the card. I'm going to turn away so I can't see it. You guys will get a chance to see it, and this is what I will encounter first time out. So we'll put that back, and I'm ready to jump in to some Dark Souls.